and milestones of our graduates, ranging from pre-K to postgraduate degrees.
That's right, Madison. This is a special day for us all, a day filled with joy, pride, and gratitude. We are here to honor the hard work, dedication, and perseverance of our friends, family members, and church community. Whether we are stepping up from pre-K, moving on from elementary school, entering high school, or finishing their postgraduate studies, each graduate has reached an important milestone on our journey.
We want to take a moment to acknowledge the parents, guardians, teachers, and mentors who have supported and guided these graduates. Your encouragement, wisdom, and love have been crucial in helping us reach this point. Today, we celebrate not only the achievements of our graduates, but also the dedication of those who have nurtured and inspired us.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the role our faith has played in this journey. As Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord in whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." Our faith has been a source of strength and guidance, helping us navigate the challenges and triumphs along the way.
Thank you for joining us in this celebration. We pray that God continues to bless and guide each of you on your journey. Congratulations, graduates.
Now let's enjoy this wonderful service together.
Thank you. I'm closing chapters.
I'm turning pages, glory to glory, from faith to faith. I'm
Moving on, moving on, moving on.
older, so I keep it straight. It hurts to let go, but it hurts more to stay up.
Moving on, moving on, moving on.
Hey, 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 I know my real you can't
Compared to what God will do in my life, I am forgetting what's behind me. I have finally decided I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. My mother told me, she taught me well. Forget your failures and forgive yourself. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Hey, 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 hey. I know my rear view can't compare to what God will do in my life. I am forgetting what's behind me. I have finally decided I'm moving on. Can't compare to what God will do in my life. I am forgetting what's behind me. I have finally decided I'm moving on. 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 Christ ahead, I'm in this body. Never run to love this body.
Moving on.
I promise myself I'm bringing light to your party. Holy Ghost with the fire, none I'm naughty. Without you, it's powder, I'm a dry man.
Without your power, I'm a dry
Moving
man.
on.
Saying with trouble, saying bye, man. Can't have 2 miles, I'm dying. My mama called me, I'm a God's
Moving
man.
on.
Told me you're moving on the God's
Moving
hand.
on.
Told me you're moving like in God's hand. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
Thank you. Hello and welcome, fellow graduates and church family. I would first like to congratulate all the graduates for achieving this milestone. My name is Denzel Dulce, and I'm here to represent and speak on the behalf of all the graduates of 2024. After 8 years at my, used to be current school, I can say that all the hard work and memories I made throughout the years were worth it. I want to share a little story about my journey and hopefully inspire you along the way. Not too long ago, I faced a challenge that seemed tough. I was struggling to keep my grades up while managing to play sports and participate in all 8th grade activities. The reason why it was so hard was because I had 3 high school classes that I had to manage, which were biology, algebra, and Spanish 3. While being a starter for most of the teams that I played, which were football, track, and volleyball. Yeah. I prayed about it and asked my mom for help. She would review the materials with me, and she emailed my teacher that offered tutorings. As soon as the day went by, the material started to make more sense. I managed to pick it up by the end of the year, and on the final for biology, language and literature, and algebra, I managed to get the highest score available, being a 5 on the FAST. I'm 100% positive that the only reason I've made it as far as I did this year was due to God and the support of my parents and teachers. Prayer has by far led me through every trouble I faced this year. This experience taught me something really important. No matter how hard things seem at first, we can overcome them if we give it to God. And don't give up. It's okay to make mistakes and fall, because that's how we learn and get better. Every one of us has the power to achieve great things, even when it feels impossible. So if you're facing a challenge right now, whether it's learning something new, making friends, or dealing with something difficult, remember that you are strong and capable. Go to God, believe in yourself, and keep going even when it's hard. You have a whole team of people who believe in you and are cheering you on. Just like I found the strength to keep going, you too could find the strength to overcome your challenges and shine bright.
Hello, my name is Sarah Samuels, and I would first like to start off by congratulating all our graduates here before us. From pre-K to kindergarten to 8th grade to 5th grade to high school to even postgraduate. I acknowledge all of the hard work and time and effort you've put into coming this far. I started out here in this church from as early as I can remember. I was dedicated here. I've known this church all my life. I've grown up with many of the people in our pews today, and that is why I can vouch for the impact that the church community has in development and in us growing up as people. I know that many people say it takes a village to raise a child, but I would like to say it takes a church to raise a child. I came from Little Peak at Heaven, back when it was Little Peace at Heaven, and I've been here through Sawgrass, and I even went further to GMA. So I've been in the Adventist circle for most of my life. I've been in many different environments, and I've been through many different struggles as part of growing up, and That is why I can say confidently that everything you guys have accomplished here today deserves rewarding. And that's why we're here gathered today as a church, to reward and commemorate your hard work and everything you've brought yourself through to this point. I understand change is scary. I know it's intimidating, and it doesn't get any easier as you grow up. Going from preschool to kindergarten, going from kindergarten to first grade, fifth to middle school, and middle school to high school, and I myself, high school to college. It it doesn't get any easier. And it doesn't get any easier. And it's easy to feel overwhelmed and sometimes drowned by how anxious and how scary it can be. But that's why we here have a community before us who's gathered today, as we can see, to encourage us and push us forward into this new chapter in our lives. So anytime you feel worried or struggled or basically overwhelmed, because I know myself, I struggle with feeling overwhelmed by the challenges that life has to face, remember this moment and remember the people that you're surrounded by, people that put the effort in to acknowledge your hard work and you're moving forward into a new chapter. I know that we all have goals, and I encourage all of us to chase them as we move on to this new chapter in our lives. And once again, congratulations.
Hello, everyone. I'm not usually a stage person, so originally I did not volunteer. I was voluntold for this. But what I want to leave with you guys, all graduates, and just everyone in general, is the message of perseverance. So when I was thinking about my journey, my educational journey, and my life journey, it was actually Dane that brought this verse to me that I want to share with you guys. It's taken from Romans 5, verses 3 and 4. It says, "We can rejoice, too, when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. And endurance develops strength and character strengthens our confidence, hope of salvation." So along this process, I'll just share with you guys my own testimony and how it is reflected through this verse. So I always consider myself born a social worker. From I was a little child, as long as I can remember, I was born a social worker, but I ran away from it for a very long time. One of my first opportunities that I think I was led to persevere is when I was in fifth grade, like you guys, I had a friend come to me and told me she was being abused. I told her to pack her things and come live with me, and that she did. My mom showed up home and was just like, "What is this child doing here?" And I was like, "She's gonna live with us until we can find better for her." So I've always thought that whatever careers and whatever you want to be, pray about it and always listen to what God has for you. Because for this verse, we're building characters, because our character is the only thing we can take to heaven. And with this earthly experience, we're building careers. So in building your character and your career, always remember to persevere. And a lot of times we don't think to smile in the storm, but that is what perseverance is. It is the ability to do something despite the obstacles in order to succeed. So we have to persevere. And in persevering, we are building endurance. And endurance is sticking to what you want to do, that you know what's for you in order to persevere. And you'll build your character and your career. So never, ever let anyone or anything come into the obstacle. When I got to college, I ran away from social work because people always said social work, it doesn't really make a lot. It's not the best career. It's stressful. And I ended up spending an extra semester in college because I ran from what God had for me. So I want you guys to know, from you're young, just ask God what He wants for you to do. And you'll see it in the natural talents and abilities that you have, how you relate to people, and how you can, and He'll allow you to endure the trials and endure the things that you're going to go through in order to build your heavenly character and your earthly career. So I also, and most recently, what I had to persevere at is I've always wanted to bring social work and mental health to the Seventh-day Adventist school system. So thank God for Sawgrass. As Sarah said, Sawgrass is a wonderful place. I pitched my idea to the principal that's now leaving, and I said, how about I do my clinicals here? I went to the conference. I pitched it to the head of the education department in the conference, and he loved it. So just know that when you persevere and that when you endure, and you never see a door as closed. Always see that you have to continue to knock because God will open those doors for you. And so that opportunity was opened, and I started doing my clinicals at Sawgrass and a few other schools. So now I'm getting ready to graduate on August 3rd, and I just want to encourage you guys. I want to encourage you guys to always endure and always work on that heavenly character. Because even though our careers are important, your most important graduation is the one that we'll have when Jesus cracks open that sky. So as you build and you keep on going and you persevere and you endure, remember never to leave God behind. Because your opportunities and the things that come at you, you want it to be God-led and to be blessed, so that not only you're never forgetting God in that process, so that you and your character will make it. Congratulations, graduates.
We'll be singing Because of Who You Are. Because of who you are. Okay. Mm, mm, I worship you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Mm, because of who you are, I give you glory. I give you glory. Because of who you are, I give you praise. Praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Because of who you are, I give you glory. Because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and sing, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory. Jehovah Shalom, my Prince of Peace, and I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Because of who you are, I give you glory. I give you glory. Because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Jehovah Shalom, my provider. Jehovah Nissi, Lord, you reign in victory. Jehovah Shalom, my Prince of Peace, and I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are. You are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I have the distinguished honor of introducing our guest speaker today, Ms. Natalie Ais. Natalie is a native of Florida. She has degrees from Boston College and Smith College. She's published research on learning effectiveness she has published research on learning effectiveness at Harvard University. She is a public speaking coach at Assertive. Natalie empowers leaders to confidently express themselves, drawing from her background as a former English teacher and public speaking instructor. Natalie strives to grow in Christ by studying, experiencing, and teaching God's word as Ezra prepared his heart to seek the law of the Lord, to do it, and to teach it in Israel. During her graduate studies, she completed Stride. It was a campus ministry evangelism and discipleship program. She has participated in mission trips to Romania, where she preached the word of God for a month. In her local churches, she has served various roles, including youth ministry leader and adult Sabbath school teacher. Natalie finds joy in basketball, vegan ice cream with warm cookie dough, and creative dance and performances. However, she cherishes her role as the eldest of 3 sisters. So it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Natalie Ais.
Congratulations, class of 2024. You guys did it. It is an honor to be with you guys today. Raise your hand if you're a graduate. I want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. Okay, all right. Oh my God, amazing, amazing. So let's get started. Adonis Creed, Coco Gauff, the Boston Celtics. Uh-oh. What do these three things have in common? Sports, winners, championships, struggle, I love it, overcoming, perseverance, not giving up, determination, amazing. They're also underdogs, people who are talented, but we may not expect them to win the first time. Or they may not be the most experienced person in the room. And you might be asking me, why am I talking about underdogs and graduation? I'm glad you asked. So for Adonis, when he began his boxing career, he then went on to beat the reigning champion. For Coco, a couple of months ago, our girl lost the French Open, she lost Wimbledon, and then she beat the number 2 tennis player in the world at the US Open, the youngest to do it since Serena at 19. And then, depending on what side you're on, a lot of people were betting their money on the Dallas Mavericks winning Monday night, and that did not happen. The Boston Celtics took the trophy. We're talking about the power of an underdog. And if you know me, I love an underdog story. There's nothing about that comeback kid that you're not watching for. And at this precipice of graduation, you closed one door and you're about to walk into another. You studied late nights, doubt. Your parents took you left and right to games and birthday parties, and now you're about to start a new journey. Let's face it, getting to this point of graduation is not an easy feat, and it's not for the faint of heart. And so this graduation is not just about you, but it's about your parents and your friends and loved ones and the hard work of supporting you to get here. So let's take a look at a famous underdog story from Scripture, the OG of underdog stories. And we'll look at 2 points: David and Goliath. All right, so we know the scene, David and Goliath. We're at the Valley of Elah. On the left is the Philistines, on the right is the Israelites. And it's about to go down. And the Philistines are feeling themselves. They have the giant. What's his name? Goliath. Scripture tells us he's 10 feet tall. He's really big, intimidating. He has a javelin on his back. That alone weighs 15 pounds. And every day he taunts the Israelites. Who are you going to send so I can feed to the birds? Because he knows he's going to win this battle. We're talking about the power of an underdog. But on the Israelite side, they're too scared. They don't send anyone. No one volunteers, except David. I'll go, he says. He wasn't even on the field. He was a shepherd boy, working with his father's sheep and lambs. And he decides, you know what? I'll do it. And so he takes his 5 smooth stones, he takes his slingshot, and he knocks Goliath out. And we know how the story ends. Goliath loses, the Israelites win. Woohoo! We're talking about 2 points. How many? 2 points. So point number 1, the weaponry of the slingshot. The weaponry of the slingshot. So every time I hear this story about David and Goliath, I think about, wait, what is a slingshot? Oh, okay. So it's like a toy that you throw with. And I keep on, and every time we talk about this story, It's as if Goliath is an Airbus 747, this huge airplane, and David is coming to the party with a paper airplane. We don't even have to ask who's going to win, right? And so this slingshot comes off as old, primitive, like David wasn't ready for the fight. And it made me think, what can a slingshot do? What's the power of a slingshot? So in my research, I came across this guy named Todd DeShenny, and he's an industrial design engineer. He's a guy who makes really cool objects for the movies, like weapons and daggers and swords, things you see in Games of Thrones. He's worked for Netflix and on movie sets many times. And so he has this video where he looks at the speed of a slingshot. So a slingshot, you can imagine, is a tool that has two strings. You launch a pebble or a rock at the back, and that extension and momentum sends the object flying. And so in the video I'm going to show you, you can cue up the video, skip the next slide, and just get the video. He's going to tell us what he learns about the speed of a slingshot. So let's find out, what do we learn about the speed of a slingshot?
So let's have a look at it now using momentum, which is a better indicator for the program. And again, somebody else.
The slingshot has a momentum of 2.8. Okay, we're almost done. Go ahead.
Just that. So that really is, frankly, I'm surprised.
How strong it hits, the power and the precision that it has is almost as like a 9mm bullet. So I guess David showed up with a gun, and Goliath is the one who came up unprepared. The scripture tells us that the stone sunk in Goliath's forehead. He hit him in his most vulnerable spot. And so I was like, wow, maybe we underestimated the sling. Maybe the sling is more powerful than we could have imagined. Can you imagine that? A sling having just as much force, just as much power as a gun, as a 9mm bullet. Now, I'm not saying a slingshot is a gun, but it has this almost exact same power. And so it made me think, what's your sling? What's the thing in your hand that's maybe powerful, maybe you have all the time, you have access to it. David used his slingshot all the time. It wasn't a toy, it was a weapon, it was a tool. He knew it. What's something in your hand that maybe you're kind of overlooking, that maybe you don't take as serious because you do it all the time, it's easy, you're talented at it, but you might underestimate it, you might even overlook it. What's your sling? What's the thing that maybe people around you kind of overlook? Maybe you're really talkative. You can't keep your mouth shut. You're always getting in trouble. But maybe you're meant to be an amazing journalist or a talk show host. And that's the thing, that's your sling that God can use. Maybe you're really energetic. You might have been diagnosed with ADHD. You can't focus for nothing. But that's the energy your next job needs to get some stuff done because you are an amazing multitasker. You know, the recent movie, Unsung Hero, just came out. And I was struck about the power of family in it. So it follows the real, true story of the Smallbone family who came from Australia to America. Anyone seen the movie? Heard of it? Okay. It follows the Christian bands for King and Country, who I love, and Rebecca St. James, two popular, successful Christian band and artists. And in the movie, the family works together to face and overcome a lot of challenges. Daniel, her brother, is always told by his parents, go turn on the lights, or go dim the lights for your sister when she's about to perform for an audition or performance at church or a local venue. Set the stage, get the lights right, dim the lights, Daniel. Daniel, go get the lights. Daniel, don't forget, get the lights. He does it every day. That's his sling. Who knew a sling could be powerful? You know what Daniel does now? He runs her lighting for all her concerts. He's in charge of lighting for King and Country. The lighting you see at concerts around the world, for churches, for other artists. He actually has his own lighting company called Lumina Productions. They do lighting equipment, fixtures, and design. Just dimming the lights. He didn't overlook it. He realized that was a sling. That was something that he did all the time. It didn't seem so amazing. But that was his door to success, to a career. Her other brother, Ben, was always video recording the family. He got things on video you wanted on video and things you didn't want on video. He was that annoying brother that's always video recording. So what do you think he does now? He directs all their music videos. Something that he did all the time. It was his sling. It was in his hand. He had access to it. He liked it. He didn't have to do it. He just wanted to do it and stumbled upon his next career move. Now he's also a music director and a movie director. Maybe for you it's colored pencils or drones, hair, books, fabrics. Don't overlook what's already in your hands, what you're already good at. Second point, your slingshot could be your experience. So the first point is don't overlook your slingshot, which could be an object in your hand. The second point is that your slingshot could be your experience. You know, when we talk about the story of David and Goliath, we often say that David wasn't prepared. We often say that David wasn't a soldier, he wasn't on battle, he didn't train to fight. Heck, what does he know about war? And sometimes people might say that for you. You've been studying, you're about to become the newest employee. What do you know? Maybe the big kids think you don't got game because you're a younger kid. You can still show them you can play ball. The thing is, David actually did have experience. It just was in a different setting. It didn't look like everyone else's. Because yet he wasn't fighting on battle. He had to fight to protect his lambs and the sheep of his father. So he knew how to fight. And he wasn't just fighting giants. He was fighting lambs. He was fighting bears and lions. So Goliath was nothing for him. You are not defined by your past. You are prepared by your past. You are not defined by your past. You are prepared by your past. When I was in high school, I did a really cool program called Girl State. Raise your hand if anyone's into government or politics. Okay, a couple. So Girl State is this week-long program where you get to go to Florida's capital, you get to sit in the State House, run for office, vote on bills, and kind of feel like what it's like to be in government. And so in high school, there was 3 of us who were the top 3. It was Erica, Kalina, and me. And Erica won, the first person to represent our school for Girl State. And Kalina got so upset because Erica was a popular girl and she was pissed that the popular girl got picked. So Kalina dropped out. But the thing about me is that I'm persistent. I don't give up. I've been like that with my studies, as a big sister. I'm gonna find a way above, beyond, whatever. And so the thing about being a runner-up is although you're not guaranteed to go, if someone drops out, you can go to Girl State too. And so the night of Girl State, they said, get your bags packed and be ready, you might get a call. And so it's about 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I remember me and my mom so excited and a little nervous because I may not get to go. And sure enough, I got that phone call. And we dashed to where the buses were gonna take off to Tallahassee. I was so excited. Girl State was a huge defining moment for me. Because number one, it was the first time I was doing an all-women's or all-girls program, so I knew I could survive being surrounded by girls all day. And 2, I got to run for city supervisor of elections, and I got to be a representative. I got to touch the buttons they actually use to make laws. It was so cool. I even helped a friend become Secretary of Treasury. For me, the sling was the Girl State application, was my job interview for that program. I took that seriously. I didn't know where it could lead. I don't know what it would do for me, but I knew it was important. That was the thing that was in my hand that I didn't overlook or I didn't underestimate. And my experience was my perseverance. I had always been someone who would find a way. So I didn't matter to me to be runner-up. I got it. With Girl State, it served me well. I ended up going to a women's college, a top school, 92% scholarship. I then studied in government. I interned in Washington, D.C. And then I got to publish research, which led me to publishing an article at Harvard. All because of Girl State. All because I didn't underestimate the sling that was in my hand. So for you, as you guys are about to graduate at this amazing occasion, this momentous moment, this hard work that you've put into it, don't underestimate the sling that's in your hand. Don't underestimate your prior experience. Don't let people say you're too young, you don't know, you've never done it before. You might have the most coolest, novel, most different idea that can solve a problem that people could not figure out. So class of 2024, you got this. And know that your slingshot can slay giants. Praise the Lord.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you. We appreciate those very motivating words. Thank you so much. This is now a time where everyone can participate. We are going to start presenting the certificates at this point. So when I call your name, I need you to come up. I'll give you your certificate, and then you can go to Elder Malone and to Miss Eliana, okay? All right. Okay, we're going to start with our youngest scholars here. We have our preschool graduates. We have Miss Annalise Anderson. Here you go. Congratulations. Yeah. All right, very good. We have next Parker McCrary. Welcome, Miss Parker. Parker. She's like, let me get the gift. Parker. Here you go. Congratulations. All right. We have Carter Campbell. Hi, congratulations to you. Very good. Next, our kindergarten graduates, we have Nathaniel Hodges. Okay. And we have Mr. Caleb Loyton. Here you go, Caleb. All right. All right, next, our 5th grade graduates. Moving on to middle school. First, we have Patrick McCrary. There you go. All right. Next, we have Mr. Nathan Knott. There you go. Congratulations. All right. We have Nathaniel Anderson. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Justice Richardson. Okay, congratulations. All right, then there's Ruthamar Celestin. Okay. All right, and then we have Damari Richards. Okay. Then we have Mr. Caleb Jones. There you go. Congratulations to you. All right. Then we have Mr. Caleb Simons. All right. Congratulations, Caleb. Next, we have Leah Sandval. And then Mr. Naden Dulce. Congratulations to you. Next, we have Miss Imara Simei. Congratulations, honey. Good job. Okay, now we have our graduates who are moving on from middle school to high school. First, we have Ms. Madison Palmer. Congratulations. Next, we have Ms. Andrea Lindo. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Austin Malone. Congratulations. Aw. Then we have Ms. Brianna Salmon. Congratulations. Next, we have Ms. Annalisa Montague. Okay. Next, we have Ms. Riley Santiago. Congratulations. Next, we have Ms. Anissa Seymour. Congratulations, Puddin' Pop. Next, we have Mr. Nathaniel Hunter. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Ansel Bishop. Congratulations. All right. And we have Mr. Denzel Dose. Congratulations. And we have Miss Layla Jean-Francois. Congratulations. Now we have our graduates that are moving on from high school to college. We have Sinead Denoir. And we have Miss Amina Hobbs. Oh, okay. Just a reminder, we have a special gift card for our high school graduates. Just make sure you sign for it and see Miss Eliana at the end. And we have Miss Sarah Samuels. Congratulations. We have Miss Elise Finlay. Okay. We have Mr. Caden Rowe. Okay. Okay. And Ms. Amaya Plaisir. Now we have another graduate who not only has graduated from high school with her high school diploma, but also an associate's degree from doing college, the University College, I think it was, Broward College, yes, Miss Adonaya Bishop. Congratulations. Right. We have Noelani Paul. Noelani Paul? Okay. Then we have Ms. Avery Rivas. Congratulations. And we have Mr. Nicholas Tyler Palmer. All right. Mr. Isaiah Janvier. Okay. And Mr. Bradley Walters. All right. Congratulations. Now we have our post-baccalaureate graduates. Miss Cherie Bryce Joseph. Mrs. Congratulations, sweetie. And Mrs. Phyllis Palmer with her PhD in public health. Congratulations, Dr. Palmer. Come on up. So let's give a round of applause to all of our graduates, our youngest to our seasoned scholars. Congratulations, everyone.
It's an awesome thing to be part of a family of faith, church family that is encouraging and affirming. We thank God that at least once a year, we spend the time to affirm our children. Come on, say amen. To affirm their achievement, to recognize what they've done. We are proud of you. I must tell you, though, I suspect that for some of us who are nearing retirement, we're cheering you on because we have a sneaky feeling that some of you will be managing our retirement funds. And so we're celebrating you, but in all seriousness, we thank God for you. We're proud of you. We thank God for your parents who poured into you. We thank God for your teachers. We thank God for the church community. We continue to make this tremendous investment. It is true that a nation, a people, a civilization that does not invest in its young, it's a civilization that's dying. And we thank God that we continue to make this investment, and we see we're seeing the returns. We're seeing the returns in how God is moving you along to each step. I'd like to have a prayer of consecration for you at this time. Father God, you are the God of true wisdom and all knowledge. We thank you for these, our children, our students, those who have studied hard, those who have matriculated in various subjects. And Lord, you have rewarded them. We've come to celebrate them today, to affirm what you've been doing in their lives. And as they move to the next stage, we pray, Lord, that those disciplines of hard work, of sticking to it, those disciplines of follow through will remain with them as they advance to the varied levels. That you remind them that you are the fountain of all true wisdom, all true knowledge. Grant them tremendous success and help them as they continue to move from strength to strength, never to forget who you are. So bless them, keep them, use them for your glory, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, we're coming down to the end. We're actually at the end, but we're not done when we get out of here because we have refreshments in the fellowship hall and we can fellowship. But how many of us enjoy this moment of celebration? This is awesome. This is awesome. And I was sitting there and I have one job to do now, and I'm not going to be long with it, but I'm going to take my time with it. Because I thought of one word. One word just kept coming back to my head as I sat there. And it's going to be strange to you. The word was love. Why? Because I saw around the room how parents were looking at their children, and even though they may have celebrated an actual graduation weeks ago, they were still looking at their children with love. I saw a mom looking at her daughter up here giving the keynote speech with love. I saw just how the students loved each other, right? And I thought to myself, how much I love everybody here and the work of our education ministry at Plantation. The schools we have, the students, how our church supports students, and I just wanted to say that what came to my mind. So with all of that, there's a lot that goes into making this happen. And I want to say a big thank you for those. And I'm going to start with the obvious ones. You, the students. You, the ones that are doing all of the hard work to get through the milestone. I want to thank you for what you've done and how you have achieved what you have achieved and moving on to the next step. So I want to thank you for what you've done. And I want to thank the parents too that suffered through this, paid for a lot of the schooling, had all of the times when a project was due and you learned about it just the night before it was due the next day, and you had to run out to the store and do stuff. All right? I want to thank the parents for all that they have done, and thanking the parents for bringing them out today, because some folks are not here because of travel, different things, but you took the time to come out tonight to celebrate with us. Then I want to thank a couple of people. Those on camera that just stepped in. I'm not going to call all the names, but you know who you are on camera. Thank you. The sound folks that took this afternoon from just relaxing at home, coming out to support this. I want to thank, I was told that I have to thank Dion and team for helping out with the food that we're going to eat in the back. I was told to thank Carolyn, who came in the last minute and volunteered. And then I have here one person, well, a couple. One, Helange Posina, who helped out. And she, if you know anything about Helange, she's education through and through. She's a principal. She loves the work that we're doing here, and she helped out. And Dane Hurst. Now, I don't know if he volunteered or he was voluntold by his wife, and I'll tell you in a minute why. But Dane Hurst was volunteered. We want to thank you, Dane. Want to thank you, Addie, for stepping in and coordinating. Thank you very much. Come on, give her a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. I also would like to thank, and this one, all our participants. So those who, the speakers, some of them were on the spot speakers that came up here and spoke, right? And participated. The singers. Guys, give a round of applause for Justice. I never knew Justice sang. And Andrea, and Lanaya, thank you. And just all the participants, thank you so much for participating. I'm hoping I'm not missing anyone. And then I have here Natalie. Natalie, our keynote speaker. Put your hands together. Thank you so much for saying yes. I know when I called you, I was very nervous, but you said yes. And I'm going to tell you something about Natalie. See, she talked about being determined. I'm not going to say how many years ago, but she was only 14 years old when I came to this church for the first time. And I walked, and there was an AY program, and I saw this young lady, and we were playing sword in hand, something like that, Bible sword. And the way she was determined to win that game, the way she strategized, the way she was into it, I saw something in her right there. And that afternoon, I said to her, Natalie, I believe in you. She was only 14 years old. I believe in you. And ever since then, we've had such a wonderful relationship, Natalie. So thank you again. I just love seeing where you have gone with your career and everything you've done. I still believe in you. So, and then these are the last two. I want to thank as well Pastor for his support, being here, supporting the ministry, the education ministry. There's a lot of work that goes into the ministry. And that leads me to the last two I want to thank, in case I forgot anybody. And please don't kill me, Eliana, if I forgot anyone. But Eliana Hurst, the work that goes into all of this stuff, putting all of the things together and the texts late at night that we're getting, planning, coordinating, calling everyone, making sure we find out which students are graduating all over. Thank you so much, Eliana, for your hard work. I'm so appreciative of you. You do so much, and a lot of people don't know, but I just want to say thank you. And thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank Andrea Seymour. You can do it. Andrea, everyone knows that talking to me. I love working with Andrea because I have ideas, I say things, but Andrea, she gets it done. And she gets it done well. And she has done so much working along with Eliana. Andrea is one of those folks that's such a leader that she's initiating, she's supporting, she's helping, she's just doing, and she's also strategizing. She's coming up with ways, ideas. If you want to have an idea, if you don't have an idea for something, ask Andrea. She'll have an idea. So I thank you so much, Andrea, for the hard work. And I think I'm talking too much now. And I'm thanking, but I want you to know that we have a great team here of education ministry. And we want to thank everyone for your participation. And please, if you're not registered in the Education Ministry database, please register. We really want to support you in your journey as you go through from pre-K all the way to post-grad. We want to support you in this church. All right? With that, I want to end by saying I want to thank God. Only because of God, why we're here. Some of you who are parents and grandparents and family members know, only because of God while the student is graduating. Only because of God why they made it through. When everything seemed like it was not going to work, God stepped in. So let's thank God. All right? And with that, are we doing the processional? We already prayed. All right. Thank you. And 12th graders, please remember out there to sign for your certificate, for what you got, your gift card. Okay? You have to do that.
Of the God who is by my side. Standing in the shadow of the Almighty.
Hello, thank you all so much for watching today's service. We hope you enjoyed and were blessed by God's Word. If you'd like to see more uplifting content, Plantation SDA.tv has a lot more. If you have a prayer request or something's bothering you, PlantationSDA.org lets you share it with us, and we're guaranteed to pray for you. If you're ever in the Plantation, Florida area, we'd love for you to drop by. You're always welcome here. Thank you again so much for watching, and have a blessed day.